As an English teacher, I love grammar. I love explaining it. I love working with it. I love using it. And after today, you will do too. Today, Mr. Person explains all grammatical tenses. Right, first distinction that you have to make is between the simple tenses on the left of my sheet of paper and the continuous tenses on the right. Example. Let's start off with this beautiful metal and concrete staircase. The English language has the simple tenses here on the left, which I can use to describe the fact that I walk down these stairs. I can also say that I am walking down the stairs. I am walking down the stairs. It's still a fact, but it stresses the situation that it's taking more time. Or someone can say, he's always walking up the stairs, to indicate that that person is getting annoyed by the fact that I'm always walking upstairs. What we're doing today is ask you a couple of questions that will help you come to the correct tense. Starting off by asking you whether the thing you're trying to describe with your sentence is taking place in a longer time frame, or whether there's annoyance taking a part in it. If yes is the answer to that question, use a continuous tense. You can find those later on in this video. We'll put a link somewhere. If no is the answer, keep watching. So, your sentence is not about taking a longer time, not about duration, and it's not about annoyance. Let's start off with the first tense you could use, the present simple. This one you use when you want to describe facts, habits, and things that happen more often in the present. When it comes to signal words, you can spot sentences in which you want to use the present simple, where they'll have words such as always, never in them, that show, yes, this happens each and every time you do it, or happens never. More signal words you can find here. You set up a present simple by simply looking at what the subject of the sentence is, and if that subject is either he, she, or it, you have to add an S to the end of the verb. For instance, the difference between I walk my poodle and Bob walks his poodle. If it's not the present simple you need to use, well, we'll have to look onwards. And the next step is to check out whether you should use the present perfect, my favorite grammatical tense. This is the tense you use to describe that something happened in the past and still has a link with the present. And that can happen in three ways, namely due to experiences, due to things that happened in the past and still are like that in the present, and because some things still have a result that you can feel in the present. Signaling words are, well, the most important ones are since and for, but you can find more right in this video. An example could be, for instance, I can see a silver car right there. If we want to say, well, someone has parked her car there, well, that still is true absolutely now because the car is still there. Or, I have lived here for 2 years. Says, okay, 2 years ago I moved to this spot and I still live here, so it's still true right now. That is the present perfect. You set it up by taking a present tense, a present form of to have, has or have, and adding a past participle. Now, a past participle you make by taking the verb and adding ed, or using the own form of the verb. And those own forms you will have to study by heart. But what if both of these tenses don't do the job that we want them to do? Well, if neither of these fit, we'll have to keep moving on, and we're moving on to the past simple, the tense you use to talk about things that happened in the past and that don't bother you anymore. You're not stressing the effects that these things might still have. It happened in the past, it's finished. Signaling words, right? Signaling words are things like last week, 20 past 2, yesterday. Yeah? Things happened in the past and they stayed in the past. How you make them? Well, you take the verb and you add ed, or if it's an irregular verb, you use its own form. The sentence that I'm using as an example here, well, is that Bob walked his poodle. He did it in the past, and it has no effect on the present, at least. That's what this sentence is stressing. But what if that doesn't cut it either? What if we need something else? What if you're trying to describe something that happened before something else happened in the past? Well, that's why you use the past perfect. A past perfect, right, is made by taking had, the past form of to have, and adding a past participle. So again, a verb plus ed or its own form. The example that I'm giving you, Bob had walked his poodle before his mother came by for tea and biscuits, shows that Bob had done the poodle walking before his mother arrived, placing it further back in time than his mother came by. But what if, to the question we asked earlier, whether your sentence describes something taking longer or having to do with annoyance, what if the answer is yes? Well, you have to start again, but this time with the present continuous. So not present simple, but present continuous. This tense you use when you want to show that something is happening right now. If I want to stress that I'm walking up the stairs right now, which I'm doing, yeah, I use the present continuous. Signaling words for this tense are things like look and always. He's always walking upstairs. How do you make one? Well, you take a form of to be in the present tense and you add a verb with ing to it. I am walking up the stairs. Or as another example, Bob is walking his poodle, showing that he is doing it right now. Walking the poodle right now. Very important that it is happening right now. Exciting stuff, poodle walking. But what if the present continuous just doesn't work for you? Well, if you've got a situation in which you want to describe that something started in the past and that it still has an effect on the present, but you want to stress the amount of time it's been taking, you use a present perfect continuous. I can say that I have been standing here for a solid 20 seconds because the other takes filled hard. The signaling words are about the same as they are for the present perfect. So we've got since, for, but we also have the question how long. For how long have I been standing here? Right here on this spot with my shoes. Yeah? Well, how do you make a present perfect continuous? Well, you take a form of to have in the present tense. So that's either has or have. You add been, B-E-E-N, and afterwards you add a verb with ing on the end. But what if that doesn't work either? We're still trying to stress that something was taking a longer time or that there's annoyance involved. But it's not one of those two. Well, we're moving on. There is a tense that you use to describe that something was happening in the past, but that it's over right now, mainly because it was interrupted by something else. And that tense is the past continuous. I love this one. I can use this tense to describe that my cameraman was waiting for me to start before I started. Yeah? I can use it to say that Bob was walking his poodle outside when he got hit by a truck. There's a surprise element involved in this tense that I love. Well, signaling words are things like when and while, and you set it up. by using was or were, so a past tense of to be, and a verb plus ing. We're at the last one, the last stop. This beautiful tense is the one you use when you want to describe that something was happening all the way in the past, that it took a long time, or that there was annoyance involved. You want to stress that duration, and that it happened before something else. So I can say, my cameraman had been sitting on the toilet for about 2 hours before finally filming this clip. Might be true, might not be true, who knows? I know, do you?
Not true.
No, not true. Signaling words that tell you that you can use this tense are things like when and before, things we've seen before mainly. And you set it up by using had plus been plus a verb ending in ing. So had plus been plus adding ing to the verb. So for instance, Bob had been walking his poodle for 2 hours before his mother arrived. It's a fine example of the past perfect continuous. 8 grammatical tenses. We've explained them all to you. Not in great detail, mind you. If you want to know more, there's various sources where you can find out more. And we'll create some in the future as well. If you want to make sure that when we do create those things in the future, those beautiful pieces of knowledge, well, subscribe, ring that bell, ding-a-ling-a-ling, yeah? And like the heck out of this video. Like it, comment, yeah? Don't comment about how fantastic I look. Comment only about the knowledge that we've shared from my brain to yours. I will see you next time.